of ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Today, October 7th, it is 2 days away from East Carolina and Tulane doing battle in New Orleans. It'll be a 7:30 Eastern kickoff on ESPN, a big American Conference game. Potential conference title implications, we'll get into that and a whole lot more over the course of the next hour. Really want to dive into the impact of this game and why Thursday will tell us if ECU is a true American title contender, what it means for the conference, and so much more. So the comment sections on YouTube on our 94.3 The Game page is open, as is our Facebook page, as is our X page on Hoist the Colors. Also, download the IBX Media app to get our show replay, the Patrick Johnson Show, and replays of Talk of the Town, along with Inside ECU Athletics as well. All right, today's cast, we have a full house in some respects. We got our guy. He's back. Cason Remaley, if you're watching our video feed, you see him on, I think, the left, either my left, I don't know. I guess
he's on everybody's left.
Okay, everybody's left. All right. Cason, first off, I'm just seeing your face now. You got the stash coming in, man. How's that going, and how's it feel to be back?
Feels good to be back. Deciding to rock the stash this fall. Did it on Friday. Was shaving. Was like, you know what? We're gonna rock the stash. Went to the Panthers game. Got a crazy comeback win. The stash might be staying for a good while. So it's good. It's good to be back. Enjoying the stash. Looking forward to Thursday for sure.
Keep the stash until either, I tell you what, ECU and the Panthers have to lose the same week. So that may happen this week. How about that?
Correct. I would agree to that.
Okay. Philip Pilkington, he was also inside Bank of America Stadium on Sunday. So you guys both witnessed another Panthers victory. Philip, how you doing on this Tuesday?
I'm good. I'm excited. Just full disclosure, I think I'm gonna wear the same shirt tomorrow as I wore tomorrow's show that I'm wearing in today's show.
I am too.
The way that he's gonna keep the stash, I'm gonna keep the same shirt.
I'm gonna wear this shirt as well. Cason, as far as I know, he will not join us tomorrow. Although if he wants to stick around for another hour because we're recording tomorrow's show right after this, you're more than welcome to, Cason. But I think you have an actual real job you have to get to, correct?
Yeah, I have to go sell some more Lucky Charms Cinnamon Toast Crunch the rest of the day. So if anyone wants some of those, just hit me up in the comment section.
I will say he actually contributes to society. He sells people food. We just talk on the radio. He does have a real job. We do not.
I was thinking about that today. I was feeling a little tired. I was like, man, I got to go record 2+ hours of radio, and I'm like, man, I'm talking about sports. Like, I can't complain.
No,
I can't complain.
We can never complain about our work.
So, but it's always good to get our guy Cason back to live this lifestyle a little bit as well, which I know he enjoyed interning with us at Hoist the Colors. All right, guys, the theme of today's show is pretty simple. I put in the headline, why Thursday will tell us if ECU is a true American title contender. The reason I write that is pretty obvious. You're going on the road. You're facing one of the prohibitive favorites in the American. You can certainly make an argument right now that Tulane may be the best team in the league, although right now, as we'll get into a little bit later, there's a ton of competition for that moniker as well. But ECU, we should know Thursday around 11 Eastern if the Pirates are a legitimate American title contender, and then there are layers to this I want to get into as well. Like, do they even have to win the game? We'll talk about that. But if you win, there's zero doubt. No matter how ugly, how pretty it is, if you win this game against John Sumrall, a Tulane team that a lot of people are picking to compete for a playoff spot, you become an instant contender. So I almost feel like, and maybe it's our fault as the media, like this game is not getting enough attention for what it could mean for East Carolina. So we'll start with Philip. If you win this game, it changes the trajectory of, in my opinion, not only the season, but potentially kind of how the program feels.
This is the game that I think you stand the best chance to lose the rest of the way. And I'm not trying to downplay the Memphis game because it's tough, but at the end of the day, it's at home. this is the only true road test I think you've got the rest of the year. Every other road game, if you play your brand of football, you will win. If you play your brand of football this week, you could lose. So at the end of the day, if you go out there and you play that to that level and you prove that you can beat one of the top 3 teams in the conference, there is now a top 4, and you are part of it. It is you, South Florida, Tulane, Memphis. And 2 of those 4 will make it, and 2 of those 4 will not. And it's all going to come down to taking care of business from there on out.
Cason, how are you feeling going into this game? And are we being hyperbolic here? Are we overstating the importance of it, or is this truly a potential statement game?
I think it is a statement game for sure. I will say that I think that if you do lose this game, I do not think it is over, because I think the stretch down the stretch with Memphis, I think if you can beat Memphis, and honestly, I don't think we're talking about on the road at Temple enough. That's going to be a tough game. We'll get into that later. But honestly, I was kind of shocked when the line came out at 7.5. I honestly thought it was going to be at 5.5. It's jumped down to 6.5. Tulane just a touchdown. But then again, going there has always been tough. And then when I was looking at the stats for Reslov, he has 7 rushing touchdowns and leads the team in rushing. And just, I'm not thrilled about this team facing a quarterback like that, dual threat. Granted, he's not going to attack you. He'll attack you through the air, but it's not like Caden Hauser will. But his legs are such a major problem, and I'm just curious on how the plan for that. I think we have the right personnel for that. Just hopefully we're healthy going into the game, because that'll be massive coming off this bye, which I think helped us tremendous. I think that this bye could not be at a better spot, which is huge for us going into Thursday.
You know, our guy Bobby Harward, who joins us every Friday, he has said he's watched the Tulane tape from a few games, and he certainly understands why the Green Wave is a good team. They're 4-1. They have an impressive win over Duke. They have a beatdown of a pretty bad Northwestern team, and they have a couple of wins over South Alabama and Tulsa as well. But he's like, look, this team is good, but they're not as good as I thought they'd be on film. And I take from that, I have not watched a ton. I've watched a few highlights. I need to go back and watch some this afternoon. But I don't think it's like this unbeatable juggernaut, which is why maybe the line is around, I think, down to 6.5, even on the road. And I'm with you, Case. Like, I think these two teams are pretty, I don't want to say evenly matched necessarily, but I think they're a lot closer than your average college football fan would think. And just the fact that it's in New Orleans is making that line closer to a touchdown. But I don't think ECU is going to be intimidated. I mean, they've already played NC State and BYU. I think that plays into their favor too, Philip. Like, those games ECU could have won if they executed the details and didn't make the big mistakes. So those are the things they have to clean up in this type of game.
Yeah, that's really the difference in the two teams right now, right? They did lose the Ole Miss game, but they beat 2 Power 4 teams. Now Northwestern might have kind of an asterisk next to it, and East Carolina did not. And at the end of the day, when you look at these two teams, I think they're exactly evenly matched. I mean, maybe not. They're not necessarily good at the same things and bad at the same things, but talent-wise, they probably have about the same ceiling. The difference right now for me, I've seen Tulane a few times play 4 complete quarters. Still haven't seen it out of East Carolina. But if you take the East Carolina you got against for 2.5 quarters against NC State, and you get that for 4 quarters, why can't they win this game? Why can't they beat Memphis? Why can't they win this conference? You don't have an answer. They can beat anybody in this league as long as they play to their potential. Now we just got to see it.
All right, I have a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, if ECU wins this game, would it be their biggest win in the American to date? Now, some other candidates would be the back-to-back wins over Memphis in 21 that got ECU bowl eligibility, and in 22 they beat Memphis in 4 overtimes, and they beat UCF. That set up the huge game at Cincinnati. But if you go on and win this one, would it be the biggest win that ECU's had in the American? We'll start with Cason.
I would say yes, considering the point of the roster and the point of where we are now in terms of this is your second AAC game. You're on the road, facing Tulane. But I will say, if we do win this one, it'll only be the biggest game in ECU history for a few weeks, because going into that Memphis game. But then again, I know we'll get into it later, but if you go through Memphis' schedule, they could be limping into Greenville. They could. I'm not I'm not saying they're going to lose all the games, but I mean they have a tough stretch coming up.
They do.
But I think that Memphis game, in my opinion, will be bigger than this one.
So,
Philip, your thoughts?
I think if we win, in the heat of the moment, those will have felt bigger. But if you look at the overall picture, this is the biggest one because even when you won those games, you either had a conference loss early that had kind of taken you out of contention, or like in 21, you knew Cincinnati. I think that was the year they made the college football playoff. Like, you knew they were going to make it or they were going to win the conference. So the fact that this can put ECU back into a true opportunity to win a conference championship for the first time since the CUSA days, that makes it the biggest American win to me.
I agreed. It feels a lot like the Cincinnati game that Cason and I covered in Cincinnati. Now, that one was late in the season. But if ECU would have won that, they would have had the inside track to a championship appearance. And this one is super early, but it does feel like with the schedule, you would very much have a potential inside track. You can't really say you have the inside track 2 games in, but in many ways, ECU would be on the start of that path. Whereas if you lose this game, you're going to need some help, most likely, which we'll get into here in a little bit, but you would still have a shot. So that kind of leads me to my next question. Can ECU still come out of this game as a true title contender with a, quote, good loss in this spot? And that means, let's say you contend the whole game. Like Philip said, you play your game, and Tulane's just a tick better. Can ECU still come out as a true American title contender with a loss like that in this spot? Philip, we'll start with you.
Yeah, 100%. If you go out there and you go toe-to-toe with the team that's probably the best in their building, and you lose on a last-second field goal or something, or a fluky play, yeah, 100%. Because you've just proved we can hang with the best. In one-score games, it's a little bit of luck sometimes.
Your thoughts, Cason?
Yeah, I would 100% feel. I 100%. I'm having a brain fart right here.
Agree.
I 100% agree with Philip, and also I also think too. I'm losing it, and then also to a broader picture of if you look at the top of the American, Navy, Memphis, North Texas, South Florida, Tulane, they're all going to beat up on each other. I mean, no one's going undefeated in the conference. And this Friday night, South Florida, North Texas is going to tell us a lot of who sits on the top. So I think we're going to see a lot of that going forward. But then if you look at, I think it's South Florida has North Texas, Memphis, and goes on the road to Navy. So South Florida at the top, and I'm glad we don't play South Florida because if there's a year we don't play, and I'm glad it's this year as well as North Texas.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I almost feel like from a conference title contender perspective, you'd be better off, as much as I wouldn't want this to happen, you'd be better off beating Tulane and Memphis and losing a game to Temple from a tiebreaker perspective, which we'll get into in a minute on the other side. But I feel like a lot of these teams at the top are going to have one conference loss, and it's going to come down to tiebreakers. So I feel like that's my only hesitancy. If you lose this game to Tulane, you're effectively a game and a half behind Tulane, and if they don't lose 2, then it becomes tough to jump them. We have a comment from Jansen Kidd. By the way, Jansen, congrats to your Jaguars, man. What a win last night.
Yeah, I was pumped up for you, Jansen, last night. I'm not going to lie, I thought about you. I know you and one other Jags fan. I was thinking about you guys last night.
I texted Bobby and Philip the group chat. I was like, shout out Jansen Kidd and Bobby for making that pick. But he says, I really think if we split Tulane and Memphis and we take care of business against the rest, we'll be playing for the conference championship. Cameron says, feels like we have not won a big road game with conference championship implications since 2009. Mm-hmm. We seem to get blown out when in the spot since then. Well,
or did they try and kill Keaton Mitchell?
Yeah, exactly. And ECU didn't get blown out in that game. I mean, what did Cincinnati win by a touchdown? Or it may have been 2 scores by the end, but
maybe.
But I mean, that was the game ECU easily could have won, so they definitely didn't get blown out. And he makes that point, and he says 2009. Well, that's the last time ECU won a conference championship, so those things kind of correlate. Usually, you win this type of game, you have a shot at winning a conference title. So that has a lot to do with it too. Corsair adding Tulane has possibly the best coach in the group of 5 teams, and John Sumrall. Yep, really good coach. But
one thing I do want to bring up, Steven, that you mentioned you're like a game and a half behind Tulane if you lose. You just become a massive Tulane fan the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You just want them to go undefeated. If you don't beat them head-to-head and you don't have the tiebreaker, you're like, fine, finish 8-0. Just help us out. Beat South Florida, beat Memphis. And then, then you hope then you would need to beat Memphis. You'd be 2 games ahead of them then. You'd be in a good spot.
All right, let's in the other side. Let's do that. Let's look at the top title contenders on paper right now, and kind of we'll break their schedule down. Cason has hit on it a few times. We'll take a look at who plays each other, who avoids each other. So we'll kind of look into that. We'll look around the American as well, as things are starting to become interesting with some big matchups starting this week. All right, we'll get a break in. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Back in Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday, October 7th edition of the show. We've got Philip Pilkington producing. We have Cason Remaley, former Hoist the Colors intern, hanging out as well. And we're kind of looking at, we talked ECU in the American. Look, the Pirates right now are in the mix. They're 1-0 in the conference. There are 7 unbeaten teams in the league. Navy is already 3-0 in the conference. Memphis is 2-0. North Texas 1-0, South Florida 1-0. Nice bottle of Cason as he shows off his Jolly Roger. Tulane 1-0, ECU 1-0. And how about Temple 1-0? UTSA still cannot win on the road, by the way. So that continues. I would say, look, I mean, Navy, Memphis, South Florida, and Tulane are 100% title contenders. North Texas, they're kind of in ECU shoes. Like, I know they're unbeaten, but they have a prove-it game Friday. ECU has a prove-it game Thursday. So I would put those two teams like a rung below right now compared to preseason expectations. we know Navy, Memphis, South Florida, and Tulane are all in that realm as well. So I don't know, guys. Early, before we dive into kind of each specific team here, I want to just look at everybody who they play, because I feel like this has these unbalanced schedules. Philip, it just feels like it has a chance to just lead to a giant cluster at the end of the day in every league.
Yeah, it does. It could have the not necessarily the best team playing for a championship, unfortunately, because we mentioned it. What happens if 3 teams go 7-1, and one of the teams that ends up 7-1 never really played anybody at the top, squeaked through a bad schedule, and they somehow have the tiebreaker over some team that went 7-1 and lost to the other really good 7-1 team. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just they've got to come up with something. I don't know if we need to. I mean, it sounds crazy, but what if you played one less conference game or something, and then you had like 4 teams make a playoff for the conference championship?
Some
I know
teams
it
have
sounds
looked at
crazy, but
or some leagues.
Yeah, like the 1 plays the 4 and the 2 plays the 3.
I don't hate it.
You could make it entertaining.
You know, I just think it's tough. We don't even have a conference schedule for next year. Maybe they're already looking at ways to do that for next year. I don't know, but it's just like I'm looking at Navy's schedule, and thus far, now it does get tougher, but they've played Tulsa, Rice, and UAB. Like they should be 3-0. They also get Temple and FAU, so they should be 5-0. Now they got at North Texas, at Notre Dame, South Florida, at Memphis, and Army to close the season. That's a gauntlet.
That is, an Army obviously won't be a conference game, but those last 3 league games for them.
Yeah, at North Texas, South Florida, Memphis. How are we feeling about North Texas, Cason? They take on South Florida this weekend in Denton. Then they get UTSA at home in Denton. They go to Charlotte, host Navy, travel to UAB, travel to Rice, and host Temple. So it feels like it's easy at the end, but maybe hard in the middle with South Florida, UTSA, Navy coming up. But 2 of those 3, 3 of those 3 actually at home. They get all 3 of them at home.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. I honestly don't know how I feel about them, to be honest with you. I think we're going to find out a lot on Friday night, as you said. I think that North Texas game, the Army-North Texas game, I mean, weren't they up 21-0 and then came back and had to win it in overtime?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of interesting. But the Washington State game, that's kind of like one that sticks out off the page of 59-10. But then again, how good is Washington State? And then just like you said about their schedule, it's not terribly easy, but not terribly hard. I think Temple is better than a lot of people think they are. Their quarterback hasn't thrown an interception this year, also just thrown over 800 yards. But then again, I really don't know. And I think that, like y'all said, they could be a product of their schedule and just how nuts these schedules are. And also, North Texas quarterback hasn't thrown an interception either, and he's 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and no picks. So I think we're going to find out what they are coming up soon this Friday.
North Texas misses out on playing Memphis, Tulane, and ECU, so they got a pretty favorable draw, to say the least. Although, of course, they do get South Florida and they do get Navy, but really those are your 2 toughest games. So, I mean, if you want to talk about unbalanced schedules, they arguably have the easiest ones amongst title contenders. South Florida, they get at North Texas, they get FAU at home, then they have to go to Memphis. They get UTSA at home, and they have to go to Navy. So they have to go to North Texas, go to Memphis, and go to Navy. Those are 3 difficult games on top of what's already been a tough non-conference schedule. Looking at
the good thing with them, Navy can be banged up at that point.
Yeah, and you always talk about how option teams – I think they play Notre Dame around then too, Navy does.
They would have just played Notre Dame.
So that's a tough stretch for the midshipmen. And then Memphis has a pretty favorable schedule as well. Now they get UAB on the road. They get South Florida, but they get them at home. They go to Rice, and then they get Tulane, but they get Tulane at home. So, again, South Florida, Tulane, tough games at home. Then they have to go to ECU, and then they finish with Navy also at home. So they should be – they're 6-0 now. They should be 7-0 going to South Florida. I mean, they probably come to ECU ranked in 9-1, Cason. And are you going to be in Dowdy for that game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will for sure be in that one. No matter what happens with Memphis or ECU, I'm going to that one for sure. But then again, you're saying they're still going to be ranked going into Greenville?
I think so. I think they split those two. Tulane and South Florida at home. I think they win at least one of those. And if
you think this will be ranked with a loss?
I think if they're 9-1 with they should be ranked.
Okay, fair
unless
enough.
something
True.
crazy
Yeah,
happens.
Yeah.
Who knows the rankings this year, man? As long as that USC girl's part of this, who knows?
That is true. And at that point, we should be going off college football playoff rankings,
That's
which
true.
There's no telling what they're going to pull out.
Oh my gosh, I just can't believe how fast this season's going. Because I mean, that about what I just said. They should bring. You're like, yeah, they'll be 9-1. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That'll be going into week 11, which is just unbelievable. But just like you said before, I think Memphis, I mean, their schedule is tough. I mean, just you have Tulane, ECU, and Navy all in 3 weeks, which is just absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be, not in 3 weeks. They have a bye in between, but it's going to be absolutely tough. And I think that's going to be the game for ECU. And hopefully it's at nighttime. Hopefully it's not at 12 noon.
Well, if it's at night, it's going to be cold. Would you rather have noon in November or a cold night?
I love a nice cold night game personally, man. I know, call me crazy, but I love a nice 40-degree chiller in Dowdy Ficklin.
All right,
keeps the beer cold.
Yeah. What do you know, Steven or Cason? This might be something you know too. What are the Americans' TV windows? Because let's just put the fact that this game might not be on Plus. And if it's scheduled by ESPN, we don't get any say in it, which that's what we want. We want this to be a big enough game that they're putting it on TV and not leaving it on Plus. What are our windows? Like ESPNU at 4 o'clock and then...
I think it's just whatever ESPN wants to slot it at amongst their games.
Okay.
I think it truly comes down to that.
On 2 at 7 like BYU.
Yeah. What does the American have? Do they get 2 national slots a week? How does that work? Do we know?
There's a certain amount of linear slots, which is, ESPN, ESPN2, the American has to get. But I do think typically a lot of those are filled with these Thursday night, Friday night games, by contractually speaking. Now, let's just live in fantasy land here for a minute. Let's say ECU beats Tulane and they win the next 3. They're 7-2. They're hosting ranked Memphis. I mean,
we might be ranked at that point.
Yeah, I mean, college game day, let's get crazy here for a second.
Let's see who else plays it.
Hold on. Oh, my gosh.
Look, I mean, we are in the media. We can put the cart before the horse. I'm just saying these are the things we can talk about. But, that should be, even if Memphis is 7-1 or 9-1 ranked and ECU's 6-3 at that time, I think is what their record would be. On paper, let's say if they go 3-1 the next 3. That's still a potential, headline game. Depending on what happens the rest of that week.
Hey, look, I'm just throwing this out there. So the only so you got Georgia at Texas, Texas at Georgia, but they've also already been to Athens this year. You'll have Oklahoma at Bama, but they've already been to Tuscaloosa this year, and now they will sometimes go back. But other than that, I mean, Ohio State's playing UCLA, and I mean, there's a lot of
they might go to college system.
Yeah, well, who do they play that week?
South Carolina. If South Carolina wins, they'll be ranked.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's definitely options here. But the point is, I definitely see this as a potential ESPN2 game, even if it's not.
Yeah.
However, Navy and South Florida are already scheduled for ESPN at noon that day. So that's already one American linear game.
Well, maybe it'll just become an American highlight day. Tim Pernetti will work his magic, get the American all over ESPN.
If anybody can do it, that guy can do it.
He's an impressive individual. We did have a comment from Cameron saying, slow the horses. We got to get by Temple first. They have looked a lot better. And I agree. Look, I've called that a tricky game from day one. And I'm still not 100% sold on Temple. They are 100% better, I will say. But, are they a good team? Are they a good football team? They've beaten UMass, who I think the 3 of us could beat. They beat Howard. They got destroyed by Oklahoma at home. They went to Georgia Tech, lost by 21, hung around for a little bit that game, but you also had a Georgia Tech letdown. I think that was the week after Clemson. And they beat UTSA despite being outgained from a, execution. If you look at the, totality of the should we have won chart, what I'm trying to say, the win expectancy chart, they actually should have lost that game if you look at the raw numbers. But UTSA was on the road. And that is a tough place to play in November. So that is a landmine ECU is going to have to avoid if they want to, go 6-2, 7-1 in conference or better. So that I would say that's your most tricky game, before Memphis, after Tulane, obviously. If you can't beat Tulsa, Charlotte at home, then something's wrong.
Yeah, and something that's not talked about that Temple game is like, yes, they're improving, which is not also good, but also it's hard to play there. I mean, you're playing in front of 10 people there in the stands in an NFL stadium. It is going to be cold. I mean, there's just bad mojo there. I mean, I think it was it 22 or 21? Holton Aves had to have like a fourth quarter comeback. I don't know if it was a comeback, but
that team was terrible.
Yes, that's what I mean. That was a bad Temple team, and there's just something in the water, something in the air there that's just terrible, and it's because of the Eagles fans. They just leave their bad attitude and just mojo there for the Temple. So it's just kind of just a whole mess up there.
I will say
Are you going?
when you beat Temple, you usually don't get food thrown on you like you do when you beat the Eagles in the playoffs.
Lincoln Financial Field is one of two stadiums I've been locked inside, along with Jerry Richardson Stadium after an ECU game. It was that game ECU beat Temple. I remember walking past Blake Harrell after that game, and ECU had won, but the look of like disgust on his face because they gave up like 540 passing yards to Warner. He was so mad. I've never seen a coach madder after a win than Blake in that game. But hey, Pirates won. Holton Aves hit Jalen Johnson on a last-second touchdown. I remember that. Yep. And then got the win. All right, let's get a break in, guys. We will come back. We have a bunch of comments I'll try and read for our fans listening. We'll also see where that leads us. We'll continue on this discussion if you guys want to, or we can branch off into other things. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU Athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Get ready to board.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Segment 3 on Hoist the Colors on this Tuesday edition of the program. A lot of good discussion on just the American title picture. Again, it's very early in the season, the conference season, and so we're having these scenarios. So much is going to change week to week, but always fun to dive into this stuff, have some fun, live in fantasy land. It's always good when you're talking about college game day potentially coming to ECU. We're just throwing those scenarios out there. But, hey, we talk Pirate football an hour a day this time of year. We got to have some fun with it. Cason Remaley is with us. Philip Pilkington is with us as well. A lot of comments here I'll get through, guys, and if you have anything to add, feel free to jump in. Joel Hancock says in 2021 we were in a similar position, 3-2, already had a conference win, Tulane, and on the road versus UCF for Game 6, gave up a last-minute touchdown to take an L. Yeah, I remember that game as well. That was a frustrating game that ECU should have won. Gus Malzahn was at UCF. Gave up a last-second touchdown. Yeah, that was brutal. Johnny Robertson, two interesting Tulane trends. 53.1% of their passing yards occur on first down, just behind Ohio State. 61.5%, and Indiana at 59.5%. They are number one in the nation in rushing yards in the second quarter at 80.4 yards per game. And Johnny Stats adding that Jake Retzloff has run for 302 yards, 6 touchdowns, and is averaging 9.2 yards per carry in the first half compared to 66 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2.6 yards per carry in the second half. So that tells me that we're going to see a lot of play-action passing early on first down, and that we're going to see them try to establish Jake Retzloff in the first half, because if you do that, it opens up a lot more, Philip.
It does, and it's interesting when you see how much the game changes, and you wonder, is that schematically or is that just how it's played out? But this is one of those teams. We talk about eye discipline with option teams like Army. I think eye discipline in a team like this, where you do have a quarterback who's so mobile, where you do have the play action pass, you can get burnt, and I am very happy that I trust our safeties in a game like this when it comes to their football IQ and their eye discipline. I think Jamarlee is mature beyond his years. They already call Teagan grandpa, so that speaks for himself. And, they're the ones who have to say in their head, counter, boot, reverse, okay, I can break on the football, because that's the position that gets picked on in offenses like this.
I was just thinking, who's older, Cason or Teagan Wilk? Any idea, Cason?
I'm pretty sure Teagan Wilk's older than me. I'm 24.
So is he. When's your birthday again?
February.
You might have him by a couple months.
Well,
I graduated college 2 years ago.
I'm going to Google Teagan Wilk's birthday real quick. All right. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Speaking of Teagan Wilk, I know somebody's been watching Teagan Eats on TikTok. Look, I got to say, I'm not a TikTok guy, but I do find it highly entertaining. He ate an entire taco in like 5 seconds the other day. Cason, so are you enjoying Teagan Eats?
Yeah, it's the first time I saw it, I was a little skeptical. But I do respect the consistency, and I do respect that they are different items. Seeing corn on the cob, burgers, treats. I honestly find it very, 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 very entertaining. And to Philip's point, kind of to get back to football, I am thankful we do have him and Riddle back there, because I'm gonna be honest, I would rather a quarterback throw for 500 on my team and just air raid me than a quarterback rush for 200 yards, just running all over the place, doing rushing touchdowns like he has been. I just cannot stand it, because I just get so frustrated with it. But just like Philip said, just the play action is going to be, it's so hard to guard. And I honestly liked what you said, Steven, a couple weeks ago, and what Blake said about how, like, in years past, you said it to me in the car ride on the way to the Coastal game. You were like, in years past, we just thought of Army as like the Army triple option and the Navy as like the boogeyman. And just the more and more you talk about it, the more and more you're scared of it. I kind of feel like if you, yes, you should prepare for it. But if you like build it up of, oh my gosh, you're just going to be, we have to focus on this. Some things can slip through the cracks, or it can just, or honestly, just when you know a team's going to do something, you can't stop it. That's the worst thing. Like Philip said, having those two in the back is going to be huge. And just, I like the discipline up front. And McIver is going to be back, correct? Which I think is going to be huge for us. So
we think.
Good shot.
We think. Yeah. Good shot. So, but yeah, and also something that's not talked about in that game is just, I'm curious what the crowd's going to be there. Because, I mean, it's never, ever absolutely crazy there. I'm just curious. Thursday night in Tulane, just curious what that's going to be like, too. Because, I mean, it's going to be nothing. It's going to be can't be worse than NC State or Coastal or the first quarter of the Coastal game. So, I mean, that I feel good about.
I've been there multiple times. It's a nice stadium for what they need, but I mean, it's basically like a glorified high school stadium. And so, like, I'm guessing it can't get loud if it's full, but like, I don't think ECU's going to walk in there, even if it is a packed house. And we'll have Corey Galore on Wednesday's show. I'll ask him what they're expecting for the crowd, but like, ECU's not going to be intimidated by what they walk into. I mean, they've played in bigger venues, bigger games in terms of capacity. Any clarity on Tegan Wilk's birthday? Did you find anything?
I can not on the internet, so Johnny Stats, find the stat of how long Tegan Wilk has been on planet Earth. I was going to go to his Instagram and see if I could like find pictures of a specific birthday. The problem is, it's tough with dudes. Like the girls will post a picture holding up the balloons, like, hey, it's my 24th birthday. And Tegan's not going to do that, so I'm going to see if I can like scroll back to his 21st and like clearly he's like drinking a beer or something, and it's his first one, and then do the math from there. But
really, we're doing a deep dive here to try to figure out
Tegan is older.
Who's older, Cason or Tegan? How are you feeling about this game, Cason? Philip and I will make our predictions later this week. This is the last time we'll have you on before the game. So, like, any gut feeling? Like, what your keys to victory? Do you think the Pirates pull it out?
You know, you guys know me as a very optimistic guy. You know, I always am a homer. I'm always a guy who's going to root. I always root for the Pirates, but you have said to me before, like, come on, like, let's be realistic. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they go in there and win. I really don't. I think they lose by 10 points. I think it's going to be like 34-24. I just don't. It's just, it just hurts to say because like. But then again, we've talked about it, and like this is another big moment for ECU that you just feel like sometimes the moment may be too big for them, and I'm praying I'm wrong. But we've had two moments this year at NC State. It's in your hands. It's in your hands. BYU is just the funkiest game that has happened in a while, and I just hope that they prove me wrong. But I think that if we can contain Resloff, if Resloff does not score a rushing touchdown, we win the game.
I think this is a good matchup for ECU. It's just, can they avoid the big mistakes? I've been dead wrong in the last two games. I picked them to beat BYU and lose to Army, so I look like an idiot. And I'm probably going to pick Tulane to win this game, but I think I don't know. I do have a feeling that the Pirates play really well here.
I think it's the best game they have played all year.
Yeah.
Again, we get done. Also, I don't know how Tegan Wilk is. Well, okay. I think he's 24, but I don't know when he's born.
Hopefully Tegan gets the game-winning pick, and I can ask him on the field after the game.
Hey, man, you older than Cason?
Maybe he gets it done and finds a way. Because I don't know, I just feel like you're going to have your guys. I always talk about in these types of games, you need your stars to be your stars. Against BYU, you know, your Anthony Smith, your Caden Hauser, they had off games. Go for it, Cason.
Yeah, and I will say something that's not talked about. We haven't talked about today, but it's talked about how a bye week can go one or two ways for you. A bye week can go a nice rest, recoup, or it can be, we got to get back in swing of things. We're a little rusty. We're not hot. So I think that is going to be major of how they come out of this bye week. I mean, you've had 2 weeks to prepare for them. I think that's massive. I said it earlier in the show. The bye week could not have been at a better place. I think we're going to come out firing like we always do. And it's just like Philip said, I want to see 4 quarters. I wish we could take the second half of the state game, put that in the first half, put the first quarter of the Army game, put that in the third quarter, and then put the third quarter of the Coastal game in the fourth quarter, so we can just have a nice puzzle complete game. But yeah, just just like Philip said earlier, I just want to see complete football because first quarter of that Army game, we were like, all right, I can just kind of put this on cruise control, and we did. Honestly, Philip, like the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, Daniel saw a 70-point lead and said, "Yeah, I don't need to call plays no more." And look what happened.
I love how you piece that game together, and I agree with everything you just said. But everything you just said doesn't just apply to East Carolina; it applies to Tulane, and with the bye week is my point. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for us. They could come out rusty. They could come out refreshed. So it's which team comes out which way.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating. I think it's just going to be a very evenly matched game, and the teams that makes the less mistakes in the big moments or the big plays, I think will end up winning, and we'll see who that is. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll have our final segment. We'll give Cason and Philip a moment to gloat about the Panthers. We'll hit on maybe some other NFL stuff as well, and anything else you guys want to get into. Drop a comment if you want us to take it in any other direction in the chat. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
It's time to soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota. Summer is here with hot deals on a great selection of new Toyotas, like a Corolla, $189 a month, or Tacoma, $279 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
My hair is definitely a reflection of who I am. Wild, fun, fiery for sure.
It just goes with the flow.
Me and my hair, both untamable.
I wear it how I feel.
Feel fearless.
Feel empowered. Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Feel unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
The sun is out, and so are the deals at Greenville Toyota. Soak up the savings on a hot selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $289 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to hoist the colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in Hoist the Colors, final segment here. We'll talk Panthers in a minute. Newton Smith has a question. We got Cason Remaley, Philip Pilkin to join us on this show. Got an ECU baseball question from Newton. He says, does the success Trey Savage is having help with recruiting players and transfers to ECU? Newton, absolutely. I mean, you can't – I mean, if you're Austin Knight and Cliff Godwin, like the number one thing you sell to a recruit right now is look at this. I mean, that's the easiest sales job in the world, and those guys deserve a ton of credit for his success And so there's zero question. I've talked to recruits who have committed in this cycle about Trey Savage and Gavin Williams. So it 100% plays a role. Cason, I did want to ask you, Philip and I talked about it the other day, but just watching Trey do what he did, man, obviously you covered him with Hoisted Colors alongside us, so pretty surreal, right?
Absolutely unbelievable. During the time he was pitching, I was unfortunately fighting for my life getting on I-85 north going home, so I couldn't watch the beginning of it, but I saw the end, watched the post game, watched the highlights probably 15 times when I got home. Just absolutely unbelievable. I really just can't. I mean, I wish I could say I can't believe it, but I honestly do believe it. He is an absolute dog. He's a machine. I mean, it's just crazy to see him do that. I remember just like you said on Hoisted Colors in the VIP chat, just him throwing balls in the dirt in his first year, and just he was the first pitcher out after that rain delay versus Texas, and just seeing him striking out Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, MVPs at the plate in Toronto at the biggest stage. It's just unbelievable. And then what he said post game about his family, my mom sent it to me too as well, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I definitely teared up a little bit watching him say that stuff. It's just unbelievable, and just really makes you just love ECU even more. And just heck of a job by Cliff Godwin crew once again.
Special stuff. Speaking of special, the Panthers won another football game. They're 2-3. They're 2-0 at home. Cason, a proud PSL owner, right? So now you're 2-0 in that regard as well. So what happened, man?
I want to give Cason his opportunity here. But the specialness is the idiots that were on I-85 that he brought up. Where the heck were those people going? Traffic was horrible the other day. Getting out of there. All right, now you guys can go back and have the rest of the show.
You hit it, Cason. What the Panthers, man? Is it just that Bank of America magic? You know, there's so many home fans, Panther fans there every game, so that's got to be part of it, right?
I honestly really don't know. Watching that game, when Bryce had the fumble, just kind of sat there. When he threw the pick, I just looked at my dad and was like, I didn't say nothing about a good 30 minutes. Steven knows how I get. I just get silent up there. Just didn't say anything for a good while, and then we slowly come back, and before you know it, we win. Unbelievable. I really don't know what to say about them. I don't know nothing about this team besides just feed Rico Dowdle against the Cowboys 100 times. Dallas can't stop the run. Just run it. I don't want Bryce to throw it more than 12 times on Sunday. I mean, even though it's going to be a Dallas home game, but is what it is. And hey, something that's not talked about enough, Philip, there are so many other fans there, but I will say, though, this year, so many Falcons fans, so many Dolphins fans. It is amazing watching them walk out just so upset. And it just cracks me up. I probably looked in like 800 Dolphins fans' eyes on Sunday, like, that's a long way back to 305, bud.
It's funny. There was somebody on one of the Panthers message boards that said the same thing. It's like the one perk to your fans selling all their tickets is when you do get to beat somebody at home. Yeah. That's funny.
I am curious for y'all as Panther fans, what is a good season for the Panthers? What would make you guys happy? We'll start with Philip.
Josh Allen doesn't get hurt between now and that game, and I get to watch Josh Allen play in person. No. I mean, happy? 7 wins? 8 wins?
Content?
Yeah, I put it right at 7-2, which is just.
Isn't that the worst case scenario though?
No, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah. But for your team, don't you want a high pick every year? You're just not in the playoffs.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I'd rather win games than get a high pick personally.
Yeah, there was a few years ago where it's okay, we just need a good draft pick. But now that it's if the team starts coming, I think it's one of those, the team's been so bad, if you can get up to 7 wins or 8 wins, you'll take the not really high pick because it proves 7 wins and Bryce proving that he's the quarterback of the future would be a good year. 7 wins and, oh my goodness, I still don't know if Bryce is the guy. He's been inconsistent. Then it's dang, wish we had higher picks. We get a better quarterback. Not that any of these quarterbacks are worth a dang, so it doesn't matter.
And Bryce went, the amazing thing about the NFL, I was texting with Cason this too. The first half, Bryce's career is over. The Broncos, my team, I'm done. I almost turned the game off. And then, both teams come back and win, and you're on cloud 9. I mean, the NFL is just crazy. The Jaguars game last night, dude falls down, gets up and runs in. That goes from worst play to best play. So I don't know, Bryce Young, where are y'all at with him right now? Is he trending up? Is he? I mean, it just feels like it's just kind of is still just so up and down.
I want Bryce to be the quarterback. And something I don't think is talked enough is play calling in the NFL and coaching is so crucial. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to sit here and say it's not Bryce Young's fault. He has made some bad decisions. But I will say some of the play calling and coaching decisions and roster decisions, I mean, Jimmy Horn was a healthy scratch the first 4 weeks. He comes in, makes the biggest play of the game on the fourth and 5, the great catch. Just he was doing great things. It's just the coaching, I think, is just a major part of it. I think having a good coach in the NFL is more important than having good players. That's my take on that.
I mean, you mentioned the play call and that fumble. He never saw the guy. He was still at the mesh point of that play action, and he turned and was being hit.
Correct.
Brady would have fumbled that ball.
Yes.
All right, well, as much as I would love to just continue this Panthers discussion, we are out of time. So, Panthers-Cowboys this weekend. I don't think the Panthers make it 3-0 at home, but it would be fun to see the Cowboys fans react.
You going, Cason?
I will be there, yeah.
All right, I'll hit you up. I'm going, so we'll talk.
I bet.
Pirates win. Panthers win. It would be another great week if it happens. Cason, appreciate you so much for joining us, man. Always great to have you back on, and keep doing your thing with the stash.
Yeah, man. It was good to be back on. Go Mariners tonight, man. I'm rooting for you.
They need it. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Hopefully they can get it done, take the 2-1 series advantage over Detroit. Philip, appreciate you as always. We will be back tomorrow, 12 noon. We'll see you then on Hoist the Colors.